Alright guys, as you guys know, I did yesterday a video about a Pythagorean and their sacred number 10 and how I discovered and revealed what this quote actually tries to tell you. And let me just read a quote again. The quote is up here. It says, the Pythagoreans, he said, "The importance of pure numbers is central to the Pythagorean view of the world." This sentence sounds so, I bet there are words missing, but their point of a view of the world is to have the importance pure numbers. It's like utmost important and is essential to view of the world. So he says then a point was associated with one line, with two a surface, with three and a solid, with four their sum 10 was sacred and omnipotent. So that's how I revealed it here, and I showed it to you guys yesterday, is that a point, right? A point can only exist when it's associated with one line and the second line. And by doing this two lines, it created the point, the dot or the centrum or the observer or the 0 point. And by doing also those two lines, I have created a surface, which you see right here, right? And also by doing this surface, I created also 4 solids. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it says then 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 10. Now people would say, but you can do other numbers to get the sum of 10. I know, but he is trying to tell you a message to do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4 is 10. So you just have to follow what he's saying and not bringing in new ideas or new concepts into it. Just follow what he's saying. So I was just doing like this. While I was drawing this, right, in here, that it's actually amazing what he has created. And he says that pure numbers is central to view of the world. So that means that 1, 2, 3, 4 is a pure number. And 10 is also a pure number. So I don't question that. Why is it not 5, 6, 7 or whatever? So now I just follow this line, which is then this. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, 10. So he says that 10 is sacred. So I go on then and leave away 5. I don't put 5 in it. And don't ask me how did I came on that to leave away the 5. I don't know, but look at that now. So I leave away 5 because it would be now like 5, 5 and so on. But I start with 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 is 30. And then I don't write down 10. I start with 11 plus 12 plus 13 plus 14 is 50. And I think the miracle in that thing is, as more and more you write down, like a long list, you see the miracle in those numbers. And if I go now further, let's say I leave the 5s out, no 15, I start with 16. So 16 plus 17 plus 18 plus 19 is 70. So if you if you recognize already that if you go like this in this particular movement, and you look at the sum, and what do you see? It's 10, 30, 50, 7, and I bet 70, and I bet the next must be 90. 21 plus 22 plus 23 plus 24 is 90. So, and let's go a little bit further. I leave out the 5. So what I'm doing is I leave always the 5 out. Right? Like here, 4, 5, I don't put 5 in. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I don't put 10 in because it's divided by 5. I go further, 14, normally it has to be 15, but I leave, because it's a 5 in that number, I leave it away, so I start with 16. So I leave all the 5s out in here when I sum those digit numbers. And interestingly, if you see the sum, it's odd numbers. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Let's go on. 26. I don't write down 25 because it would be the next one. I write down 26 plus 27 plus 28 plus 29 is 110. So if you look now, it goes like this: 10, 30, 50, 70, 90, 110. And that's quite interesting, right? Now look, what I'm doing now privately is I'm gonna write this list long from time to time, because I know there is a miracle into it, and I found it already a miracle into it by when I was writing this. I came to like 51 plus 52 plus 53 plus 54 is 210, but here right now I just made it to like 110. So it's 10, right? So if you see the sums is 10, 30, 50, 70, 90, and you ask yourself, where is 20? Where is 40? Where is 60? Where is 80? Where is 100? So by counting the numbers like this, without the 5s in it, no 5s in here, you always get the odd sum besides the 10. You start with 10, but then all the others are all like odd numbers. So and then the interesting thing is, if I add the first one with the last one, I'm gonna write on this side, or maybe on this side. If I always add the first digit with the last digit, right? It's the sum of it. It's 5, right? 1 and 4 is 5. 2 and 3 is also 5. And if I go on, 6 and 9 is 15. And 7 and 8 is also 15. And you see something? 11 and 14 is 25. And 12 and 13 is also 25. So plus 25 gives this, is 50. 15 plus 50 is 30. Is 10. And I can go on again. I can go on here. Is 62. 20. 26. 33. Now check this out. One second, guys. I'm calculating something right now real quick. So 16, the first 16 with the last 19 is the sum of 35. And 17 plus 18 is also 35. It gives the sum of 70. Do you see already the miracle? It's really interesting. If I add this, but only when you do it according to his pure numbers, which is really important. Same thing with 21. The first digit number with the last one is 45 plus 45 is 90. So when you add the digit numbers like this, the sum is 10. If you add the digit with the first one and the last one, it's 5, and 2 and 3 is also 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. I don't know if you guys see it. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. Also, when you look at the sum numbers here, 10, 30, 50, 70, 9, 11, if you erase all the zeros, it gives out all the odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, right? I don't know if you guys see that. And what is also interesting is like when you add 1 and 6 is 7. It's really like if you go on with this list, you see some really miracles in these fields that you can add and subtract, and it comes interesting numbers, and you see then in other numbers and in others you know. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm writing down all the numbers, and the interesting thing is that sorry for yawning, that I leave out all the 5. So and also the funny thing is, if I for instance, what I just discovered is when you want to have the 20, you just subtract, like 10, 30 minus 10 is 20, right? 20 plus 30 is 50. 50 minus 30 is 20. It's very magical somehow. It's very, very interesting. It's very interesting, and I think as larger you write those numbers down in a list, the more you discover in those things. That's why it's pure numbers, because somehow you can maybe do some things with those numbers. So 30 minus 10 is 20. And also 10 plus 20 is 30. And 20 plus 30 is 50. And if I subtract now 50 from 70, it's 20. Right? It's very interesting to play around with. It's really I'm really on this very interesting way what Pythagoreans was trying to explain in his quote that the importance of pure numbers is central to the Pythagorean to see it from their point of view, the world. And a point was associated with 1, a line with 2, a surface with 3, and a solid with 4. The sum was 10. And 10 was sacred and the omnipotent. So I think if this is like a digit system somehow, that you can really see some miracles in it. But it doesn't matter what you do, it's everything, it's there. I don't know if I and see, an interesting thing also is like 50 and 30 is 80, right? See that? 30 and 50. And 20 and 20 is 40. You see that? You see that? And 30 and 50 is 80. And 70 plus 20 is 90. See, that's what I'm saying. It's really a miracle in and look what happened here. And it's very interesting what goes on here. It's very, very interesting. I just want to show you something here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see that what I'm saying? It's all interconnected with those numbers. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out, because when he says that it's very important, the pure numbers, and the pure numbers is, he already gave a hint. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. And their sum is 10, and 10 is sacred. So I keep that as a reference and keep on doing like this. But what I also just figured out is I'm trying to translate that also, or transform that system into a geometry, because he's saying that, let me do, he says up here that a point or the observer or the 0 point, the point of view, can only exist by one line and the second. So through those two lines, vertical and horizontal, the point can be created or existed, the observer. And then those two lines create the surface. And that surface has a solid of 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and he says that 1, 2, 3, because 1 and 2 create a dot. 3 is what been created. 1 and 2 is the dot. 1 and 2 created the dot and also created number 3, which is the surface. And 4 is those 4 solid things. Number 4. So, and as we have here, it says, I figured out that when 10 is a sacred number, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 10, right? So when I look at here in the geometry and see 1, 2, 3, 4, the sum is 10, then that tells me that maybe it could be that 10 is this. That this is 10, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and the sum is this. This is 10. So I'm figuring it out, and thank you guys for watching, and Yes, see you to the next video. So I'm figuring out and I'm transforming it in geometry understanding according to his reference that the reference about the pure numbers is central to understand the point of view of the world, and that 10 is a sacred number, and according to his hidden, or not hidden because that sounds too much like conspiracy and all that stuff, I don't believe in that shit, but in what he's trying to give a hint is that according to his reference, I did this, and I already see a lot of miracles just by doing this. As you see here, this, you know, and it's like, it's very, very interesting. And I think when I go with the list longer and longer and longer and longer, you see a lot of interesting things in the whole digit numbers. And you can play around with it, and it's just like, and it's in the field. So I was just trying it now to translate it in a geometry form, and maybe because Pythagoreans were famous for their geometry, so I'm trying to figure out what does this mean with this. And so far I came to that 1, 2, 3, 4, and the sum is 10. So I guess that this is 10. The point is 10. And from there I have to figure out, but I will, you know, I'm confident in that. I'll let the spirit lead me. Alright guys, thank you for watching.